Hello, I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and as you may remember, back in January we attended the 5-Star Wrestling promotional show. We interviewed a bunch of wrestlers. We interviewed Justin Gabriel, John Morrison, and of course AJ Styles. We actually interviewed about double that amount of wrestlers, including Colt Cabana, Kid Fight, Carlito, and of course Jay Lethal. But unfortunately, we sort of lost the card that those interviews were on. Shame, shame, shame. But the good news is, we found it, hooray! So a couple of months late, apologies to all the wrestlers involved. Here are the interviews from 5-Star Wrestling. Take it away. Hello, I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and I'm here with Ring of Honor World Champion, Jay Lethal. Jay, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thanks for having me here on the, what is the name of this show?
We are WhatCulture Wrestling.
WhatCulture Wrestling.
You love it.
I do. I love it. This is real. This is organic. I love it. Don't edit that out, please.
No,
Keep it in.
we didn't. So you've just come off performing at the Tokyo Dome for Wrestle Kingdom 10. What was that like?
That's one of those things you get to check off your bucket list. I mean, 45,000 people, the history in that building. Mike Tyson fought in that building, by the way. I mean, it was incredible. Definitely a highlight of my career. And, I mean, I won my match too, so there's that. I won in the Tokyo Dome, so that's cool. Yeah, definitely a highlight of my career, of my life.
The spot where you landed on the guardrail, was that a tricky one? Are you all right?
Yeah, that one hurt a little bit. Yeah. That one almost took me out.
You saw in a wide shot, like the guardrail was just like bent, like all the way around. Like,
but
no soft landing.
You know, I hate to toot my own horn, but I'm a tough cookie. I will say that it looked rougher than it felt.
Great. So you talk about a bucket list.
Yeah.
What else is left? Lovely little ass slap, by the way. Do you want to hit that again for the?
Right there. That's where the
boom.
So what's left on the bucket list? I'm not sure. I mean, I got to cross off wrestling Ric Flair, beating him on pay-per-view. I got to cross off hanging out with Hulk Hogan, wrestling Kurt Angle, beating him on TNA pay-per-view. Hanging out with Kevin Nash, all these things, I didn't set them. It just, when the opportunity presented itself, I go, oh, I think that was on my bucket list, and I just click it off. So now I'm afraid to purposely put something on the list so that I can work towards trying to check it off, because then that's like jinxing myself.
Well, exactly, yeah, because we talk about beating Ric Flair. Not only that, but you beat him with his own move.
Yeah, and you want to know something? I put that move plenty of times on my brothers and sisters. I come from a large family. My parents had 4 boys and 2 girls, and of course we always wrestled around. And I put that figure 4 on my brothers plenty of times, and I never won. But finally, when it really meant something, I was able to win with it, which was awesome. I idolize Ric Flair, Macho Man Randy Savage. Everybody knows that. So yeah, that was such an honor to get to wrestle Ric Flair.
So the finish of like beating him with the figure 4, did that come from you? Did that come from Rick? Did that come from TNA Creative?
Ric Flair. That was Ric Flair's idea, guys. Wow. Spoiler alert, little backstage scoop, breaking kayfabe, as they say. Yeah, that was Ric Flair's idea, which, I mean, that was the coolest thing ever. And I know sometimes I like to talk bad about TNA, but they did give me one of the coolest moments of my life, which was wrestling Ric Flair, and I got to do this machismo character, which kind of put Jay Lethal on the map. But I got to say, standing on top of that list of achievements would actually be winning the Ring of Honor World Championship. There's nothing like being the number 1 man in a wrestling company. The company says that we have so much faith in you, we're going to put you in front of everyone else, and you are the number 1 guy. There's no higher honor than that in the wrestling business, and I got to say, I'm loving life right now.
So are you leading the Ring of Honor locker room right now? You're the head honcho?
I am, because this right here, this bad guy, this thing that makes it tough getting through airport security, yeah, this says that I'm the number 1 guy.
So, I mean, you're the first guy to hold the world champion and the TV championship at the same time. Mm-hmm. Again, like, was this because, you know, a lot of people thought, like Michael Elgin, he's had such a big thing in Japan. They thought maybe there was going to be a title change. In fact, there wasn't. Suggests that Ring of Honor really kind of pushing you going forward. So, like, has this been a long time coming? Were you always kind of being positioned at the top guy, or is this sort of like this is just like they ask you to do it and you go?
Yeah, it's more like they ask you to do it and you go. In the wrestling business, it's a little weird. I mean, guys can sit around a table and plan these ideas that will eventually come to fruition at a later date. But it is up to that individual wrestler to do his part to make them go, yeah, see, this is why we picked him. So if you're not doing your part, then that meeting that they had, that idea they came up with, it will never come to play. So I'd like to think that something along the way of what I've been doing has been pleasing Ring of Honor and the wrestling world, because everything's just falling right in line, and I'm having a great time. I'm the #1 guy in Ring of Honor. I'm living the dream. I'm here talking to you on the WhatCulture show.
Yeah, and just ticking off that bucket list.
There you go. Tick, tick, tick.
So, I mean, your current run, you're the biggest heel in Ring of Honor. But before that, you were a face for like a decade. So when it came time to make that change, did that come from you, or did that come from the guys?
Great question. I have always wanted to be the bad guy. Always. And that's because my idols were Ric Flair and Randy Savage. The best Ric Flair and the best Savage, they were bad guys. Even though they could play the good guy, they were just bad guys. And I always wanted to be the bad guy. So for like 11 years, I was the good guy. So for 11 years, I got to stand across the ring from every type of bad guy in wrestling. And I got to pick and choose every little thing that I liked. Oh, this bad guy does that, and this bad guy does that. So what I've done is, over the 11 years, I've taken all those little things that I liked from all the different bad guys, and I've meshed them into one, and that's what I do when I go out there.
And that's Jay Lethal. Sir, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
I've been Adam from WhatCulture.com. We'll see you soon.
Whoa!